have needed a sustainable food supply for all of our existence. However, in the last several years, it's become a buzzword for the general public as well. Allison Nepvo is the Director of Sustainability at Bushel Incorporated and spoke Wednesday at a webinar hosted by the Northern Crops Institute. She says one challenge is convincing farmers to adopt new technologies, while many are already using sustainable practices.
And so that's where I've seen a lot of friction in this space. We haven't rewarded the early adopters in the markets for doing really great things and providing some of these benefits to our supply chain.
She says the lack of a tangible payoff for their work can make it harder to get some people to make more changes as we enter new territory like carbon markets.
The shift into carbon, I think, is causing a lot of maybe let's wait and see from some of these growers.
I'm Sabrina Halverson for the Southeast AgNet.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for pets.
Like cats, all the toys and treats and the fun little beds.
I like the dog section, the food, the chewies. Oh, pig ears.
Of course you choose the Easy Pet.
Right, because your cats are so warm and loyal.
I hope the doghouse is warm tonight.
It's never warm.
No, it's not. Can I help you?
Yeah,
catnip.
Rawhide?
Catnip.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be partly sunny with widely scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. High today 87 to 91. Then patchy clouds tonight with a low of 71 to 73. Look for a mix of clouds and sunshine Friday. A couple of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with a high of 82 to 87. Morning showers and thunderstorms Saturday and a stray thunderstorm Sunday. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, usually the county commission's in here, but today, because last month was a 5 Tuesday month, there was no meeting, so there's no county commissioner. They'll be in here next week. Intern Natalie's in here, and I've got her all fired up over how wrong she is about gun laws and everything. But hey, if you want to give us a call, 622-9622, 352-622-9622. You know, we were talking during the break. Some of the best conversations are during the break. And we were talking about how, you know, the difference between a non-bolt action hunting rifle and an AR-15 is just the way they look. That's the only difference. They fire the same bullets. They can do the same thing. They can hold the same clip. There's no difference. And I said it's the perception. One looks like a machine gun. I said when we were kids, when I was a kid, I'd go to the toy section. They'd have a hunting rifle toy gun or a machine gun toy gun. I was going for the machine gun toy gun every time, because it made that noise. It made, you know, and
right.
the other one just went pop, 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 you know. So I understand that the gun manufacturers did it to continue that childhood love of the machine gun. They could sell more guns that way. I understand that. Marketing-wise, it was genius. Let's be honest. From a strictly capitalist marketing standpoint, it was genius. But, you know, do they use machine guns in first-person shooter games on the video game instead of hunting rifles? Yeah, they do, for the most part. You could take the hunting rifle if you want to, but nobody ever does.
Right.
They take the machine gun in the games. So that leads people to say, well, see, Tom, video games, those kind of things, and the gratuitous violence on TV, shut up.
I don't think
Okay?
that's the actual cause of it. I just think that
But
that because of those things, kids sometimes think that it's cool, not that
But
you
if
know that playing the video game makes them go, oh my God, I'm going to go out and shoot
But
up
if
a
that's
school.
the case, if kids thought, oh look, it's kind of cool killing people and all, like in the video game. If that was cool, I'd have took 12 gauge and shot people in the face. It's kind of cool. You can shoot somebody in the face with a 12 gauge, and they can just still talk to you.
Right, and I'm
well,
not
we
saying
know that's not right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying. Well, I'm sure some people are, but I'm not saying that the video game causes kids
Oh,
to
there's
grow
a
up
whole
and then
movement.
go to a school and shoot people.
There's a
That's
whole
not-
movement of parent groups and everything that believe that is completely what happens.
That's not, and there's a lot of these.
If that's the case, then,
Well-
anvils should be outlawed.
I would tell those parents that,
You're just a
th-
crappy parent. How about that?
Right. Well, and if you look at some of these shooters, their parents weren't paying attention to the obvious signs of mental distress and mental illness in their children. And they completely, one guy, I forget what shooting it was, he had jars with like animal parts
Right.
in his room. Where in the world?
Unless you're
Really?
unless you're the next world biologist.
Right. Like, what? You just completely ignored that sign?
Oh, I
that
thought it
you're-
was pretty. I thought it was. I didn't think anything of my 11-year-old asking for formaldehyde so he could put it in mason jars.
Yeah, it totally didn't think that he was a psychopath. Like,
No,
what?
no. The fact that he would bring cats home and dismember them and then put them in jars, I thought nothing was wrong with
right,
that.
that seemed perfectly normal. So these things it's way more than a video game or, and I think that we do need to work on access to, mental health care.
Yeah,
And I think that's a huge thing in this country,
That's
especially
But where
nowadays.
does that stop? Because technically, although some of my friends say it's not very technically, they know I'm mentally ill. Technically, because I have ADHD, that's a mental illness. So
Well, and
because
I'm not-
I have a mental illness, do I get denied access to guns because I have a mental illness, ADHD? Where do you draw the line at which mental illness and what realm of mental illness? And it all becomes subjective again. And that's the problem a lot of people have, is where do you draw the line? And I understand that, but we got to draw the line somewhere.
There's got to be some kind of line. We can't just sit back and just continue
We
to watch
can't
these
let
things
the
happen.
mentally incompetent still have access to guns. I agree with you there,
Yeah.
100%. But who then decides what is and what isn't mentally competent?
Right.
That's another
And
whole issue.
And I think that maybe you have to, draw a line at, okay, they've, said that they're a threat to themselves, basically. They said they want to kill themselves, or they've, tried it before, or, things of that nature that are big red
But
flags. We have a red flag law here in Florida.
Right, but what do you say about the people who, one of the mental illnesses that people suffer from, and I forget the technical name for it, but it's people who have violent outbursts or angry outbursts over minor situations. But you may not even know they suffer from that. You may just think they got a bad temper.
Yeah.
But, they haven't ever said they wanted to hurt themselves. They've never said, they're not going out and chopping up animals and stuff, which, they say serial killers, psychopaths kill animals first. They've never done any of that. They just have angry outbursts. Somebody makes them angry, so they go get their rifle from home, come back to the nightclub, and shoot 30 people.
Right.
But
and there's
in
some
reality,
things-
they got a mental illness that has never been diagnosed. So that's the issue.
Right, and obviously some of these things cannot be prevented. It's not going to stop. Whatever you do isn't going to completely eliminate
Right.
the issue. But I think even outside of gun control measures or even a conversation about guns, we still need more access to mental health care in this country.
For everybody.
For everybody, for kids, I when I grew up, there was no internet. We played out in the street. We didn't have all of this, these crazy expectations and all of the, the pressures that are on kids nowadays. You got bullied at school. You didn't go home and then also get bullied online. And, so I just think that we really need to pay more attention to mental health in this country.
It is a situation that's still taboo to a lot of people. And
that's unfortunate.
Ethnicity-wise, it's really taboo in the Hispanic and African-American community.
Right.
Really taboo. So, it's unfortunate it's taboo. Here's the other thing. I think there is another way that we could not stop, but curtail some of these mass shootings. And that's we start holding parents culpable.
And
we start for the 16 or 17-year-old or 18-year-old, even this 18-year-old, he's still living at home. The guy that shot up Uvalde, Texas, he wasn't out on his own or anything. Even though he could legally purchase guns at 18, I don't even want to get in that argument because if you can serve your country and die in war at 18, there's a whole lot of things you should be able to do at 18. Drink beer, all kind of things. But that's a whole different argument.
Right.
But this guy lived at home. If you missed the warning signs of everything that was going on with this guy, criminally negligent, something.
Yeah, I think that if you missed the sign that your kid had, jars with body parts in it or whatever,
but you
should definitely be held responsible.
If parents know that they would be held responsible, now maybe they have a sharper eye. They watch things just that much closer.
Maybe they lock up their weapons a little bit.
But even if just think about that. Think about if you do something that makes a parent 15 to 20% more attentive to their children's behavior and everything. And if that is caused by them knowing they'll go to jail for negligent homicide or something like that, even if they do it for 10 or it makes them pay closer attention 10 to 15% more. You catch just that many more kids before or young adults before they become the psychopath.
Yeah.
It lessens the number just in that way.
Yeah.
And you got to do whatever it takes to lessen the number.
Yeah. Anything we can do to, reduce the number of these mass shootings is.
There's no reason that Dylan Klebold and the other kid, I forget his name, that did the shootings in Columbine, Colorado, that really kicked off the whole fascination of mass shootings.
Right.
There's no reason their parents shouldn't be serving federal prison time.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me you didn't know that these kids were, real close to being psychopaths at 14, 15 years old?
I don't remember what they found out about those.
Well, the parents said that they would always go down to the basement and listen to their music, and we didn't really pay much attention. We thought they were, they were in our home and everything. It was okay. We knew they got picked on a little bit and everything. They went down and listened to music and stuff. That's where they were downstairs making the bombs, planning the assaults and everything,
Yeah. I mean, you didn't go into your own basement?
Yeah. I mean, hello.
Really?
What are you red from that 70s show? You never just went down in your basement?
Right, exactly.
But parents aren't held culpable.
No, they're,
Oh, I'm so sorry my child did that. I never saw it coming. That means you're criminally negligent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you start holding adults accountable for what their children do in these mass shootings, where they face the same type penalties. Now parents start becoming more attentive, I believe, and maybe even if you curtail 1 out of every 4, when you have 25 in a year or 20 in a year, that means you only got 15 in a year. That's a hell of a lot better than 20.
Yep. Anything we can do.
Anything you can do to make the number go down, not continue to go up.
Yep.
And I think the answers are mental health screenings.
For sure.
And holding parents accountable for what because a lot of these mass shootings, for the most part, in recent history, have been done by people under the age of 20.
Yes.
There have been, over the age, but most of them are done and a lot of them at the school, especially the school shootings, are kids that have been bullied and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, where are the parents?
Yeah.
And why aren't the parents being held accountable?
And let's also look at the schools. Like, can't there be something done to try to lessen bullying in schools? I mean,
they do a lot now, a lot more now than they did when I was in school.
Oh, sure. But I think there can be more done.
There can always be more done. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. It says WOCA, the source.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those new zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing this section.
Ridiculous.
Shamrock Security Systems, 629